Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something important for anyone training future VET professionals.
That's right. We're looking at making online classes, specifically for those doing the Cert 4 and training and assessment, much more interactive.
And, more engaging, maybe even a bit fun, because these learners are the ones who'll be training others soon.
Exactly. What they experience matters. So we've gone through quite a bit of material on adult learning online teaching.
To pull out the best strategies, our mission here is to give you really practical techniques, stuff you can actually use.
Yeah, actionable insights. Many of you listening have probably done online courses, maybe even taught them.
So you know the challenges. We want to offer some solid ideas to boost that engagement and make the learning stick.
Okay, let's jump in. Engagement. Why is it so, fundamental for these adult learners online? It's not just nice to have, is it?
Not at all. The resources we looked at are clear on this. Adults come with experience, they have goals.
Right. And if the learning doesn't connect, or if it's just passive, it's easy to tune out online, isn't it?
Definitely. So interactivity kind of pulls them in, gets them actively involved.
And the fun part, it actually helps. When learning feels good, people remember more, they apply it more. That's what the research suggests.
Makes sense. Okay, so where do we start making things more interactive? Lots of tools out there. Let's talk polls and quizzes first. Seems common.
Very common, yeah, but maybe underused. Polls are super versatile. You can use them right at the start.
See where everyone's at?
Exactly. Or mid-session, check understanding. Or even at the end for quick feedback. Tools like Kahoot, Mentimeter, Slido make it easy.
The key seems to be asking good questions, though, not just simple recall, right?
Right. Questions that make them think, reflect, apply the ideas. It's about sparking discussion, not just data collection.
Like that example we saw. Identify your stress triggers. That sounds pretty relevant.
It really does. The goal there is self-reflection. You could use a simple Zoom poll, maybe multiple choice.
Workload, family, finances, the usual suspects.
Yeah, plus maybe lack of self-care time, other. But the real value, as the resources point out, is the chat afterwards.
Linking those triggers to, okay, what can we actually do about them? Stress management strategies.
Exactly. It turns a simple poll into a real conversation starter.
Okay. And quizzes. People sometimes get anxious about quizzes. How do we make them engaging, not stressful?
Good point. The trick is short, low-stakes quizzes. Think quick knowledge checks, not big exams.
With immediate feedback.
Yes, that's crucial. Instant feedback helps correct misunderstandings right away and reinforces the right answers. It's about learning, not judging.
Okay, so individual checks are good. But what about group interaction? Our sources really emphasize discussions, breakout room.
Oh, absolutely. Adult learners often value that pure interaction highly. Breakout rooms give them that smaller, safer space to talk.
Safer? How so?
Well, it can feel less intimidating to share ideas in a group of 3 or 4 than in front of the whole class,
Right. And giving them specific tasks or roles helps keep it focused.
It does. Clear prompts, maybe assign a note taker or a reporter for each group. Keeps things productive.
And then the key step is bringing everyone back to share, right? That peer-to-peer learning piece.
Definitely. That sharing part is where the collective wisdom comes out, like that stress management strategies activity we saw.
Ah, yeah, that follows on from the triggers poll.
It does. So in small groups, they brainstorm practical strategies, maybe talk about deep breathing or time management or mindfulness.
Things they might actually use, discussing how it helps, their own experiences.
Tips, resources. Then they share back with the whole group. The instructor facilitates, pulls it all together. It becomes a shared pool of ideas.
I like that flow, identify, then solve collaboratively. What else? Real-life scenarios and case studies kept coming up, too.
Hugely important. Adult learners need to see the connection. How does this apply to my job? My life?
So, using real-world problems.
Yes. Case studies they can dig into, maybe work through in groups, figure out solutions, and then share their thinking. It makes it tangible.
That active problem-solving feels much more engaging than just listening, doesn't it? Builds critical thinking.
Absolutely. Okay, what about gamification? Sometimes sounds a bit gimmicky.
It can, but the idea, based on our sources, is just adding game-like elements to motivate.
Like points for participating. Or leaderboards for quizzes.
Yeah, or even virtual badges, top contributor, quiz whiz, something like that, a little recognition.
The key is making sure it supports the learning, doesn't just distract, right? It needs purpose.
Exactly. Needs to align with the objectives. Okay, so we've got activities. What about the actual content delivery, multimedia, visuals?
Oh, definitely. People expect more than just text now. Videos, good images, infographics. They help a lot.
Cater to different learning styles.
Yes, and just make things clearer, more memorable. Short videos are great for breaking up lectures or showing how to do something.
And building on visuals. Interactive whiteboards, like Jamboard or Miro.
Those are fantastic tools. They let everyone sort of brainstorm together visually in real time.
Like a shared digital wall with sticky notes.
Pretty much. Drawing, writing, moving ideas around, it mimics that collaborative whiteboard session, but online. It gets people really involved.
Another technique mentioned often was storytelling. Seems simple, but effective.
Very effective. A good story or a personal anecdote can make a concept stick like nothing else. It humanizes the content.
Makes it relatable.
Yeah. And encouraging learners to share their own stories. That builds community incredibly well. It becomes a shared experience.
Speaking of sharing, peer feedback came up too. Can be tricky though.
It can be, but structured well, it's so valuable, especially for people training for professional roles.
Learning to give and receive constructive criticism.
Exactly. And seeing how others approach things, it can be formal, like peer reviews, or informal, like discussions about work samples.
Interesting. Now this one seemed a bit different. Interactive handouts or worksheets. How does that work online?
Well, think beyond just a static PDF. Maybe it's a PDF with fields they can type into during the session.
Or a shared Google Doc.
Right, where everyone can contribute at once. They're actively doing something with the material, not just reading it. That helps process it better.
Okay, lots of solid techniques there. What about just getting things started, setting the right tone, icebreakers?
Yes, don't underestimate those.
Yeah.
A quick, light starter question helps people feel comfortable, gets them talking.
What's one thing you hope to learn today? Something simple like that.
Or even what was the highlight of your week? Just something to break the ice. Or a quick, fun trivia question related to the topic. It wakes people up.
That sense of community seems really important. The resources also mentioned using things like social media groups.
Yeah, creating a private group, maybe on Slack or Facebook or within the LMS, it extends the learning beyond the class time.
A place to share articles, ask questions between sessions.
Exactly. Keep the conversation going, let learners support each other. It builds that ongoing community feel.
Okay, let's drill down on some specific tech tools mentioned. Poll Everywhere and Slido.
Great examples. They often offer more dynamic ways to do live polls, Q&As, word clouds, compared to built-in Zoom features, for instance. Very visual.
And Padlet, that came up too.
Padlet's like a virtual bulletin board. People can post notes, ideas, images, links. Really good for brainstorming or collecting thoughts visually.
Lots of tools. But you know, one resource really stressed the instructors. Well, their vibe, basically, the tone they set.
Absolutely critical. A friendly, encouraging tone makes a huge difference in online spaces, making it feel safe to contribute.
Acknowledging contributions, even small ones.
Yes, valuing participation. And, using a bit of humor appropriately can really lighten the mood, make it more enjoyable, less intimidating.
And finally, closing the loop, reflection and feedback were mentioned constantly.
Yes, giving learners a moment at the end to reflect on what they learned helps it sink in. Maybe share one takeaway in the chat.
And asking them for feedback on the course.
Regularly. And showing you're listening, adapting based on their input. It shows you respect their experience and are committed to making it better for them.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot of practical stuff pulled from those resources. It really paints a picture of how you can make online VET training much more dynamic.
It really does. It's about being intentional, using these tools and techniques thoughtfully to create that active, relevant, supportive environment.
And like we said at the start, these learners are future trainers, so giving them a great online experience matters beyond just their own course.
It has that ripple effect, definitely. We're investing in the quality of future VET delivery.
So as you're listening, think about all these ideas, polls, breakouts, stories, gamification, the tone you set. Which one or two could you try?
Maybe pick just one new tool or strategy for your next online session. See what happens. You might be surprised at the boost in engagement.
It could make a real difference. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.